now we have our crown jewel predictions. Da, 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 da. I do want to say before we get into these predictions, though, I am concerned, because for those of you who are not aware, with the Saudi Arabia Iran conflict, there have been reports of an imminent attack that is supposed to be hitting Saudi Arabia in the near future. If I'm not mistaken, please do the research. If I'm wrong, check me. And it was announced that there was an imminent attack, earlier this week, with the knowledge of WWE coming to Saudi Arabia. And in my opinion, I just don't think that it's wise to be putting your competitors in a position where they can be harmed, as well as the fans. It's going to be thousands of people there, and I feel like this show should not be happening. I feel like the show should be postponed or rescheduled or take place elsewhere. But something about this just doesn't sit right with me. Um you know what I mean? This puts the performers at risk and at harm, just putting them in a, even if the attack doesn't happen, like the 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 toll that takes on you mentally, that you're entering into another country and there's the potential of an attack happening. I know it's going to affect people psychologically and mentally, and if it affects you in both of those ways, it is going to affect you physically. So I really am sending my love and my prayers to everyone who is going over there, and I hope that this could be a conflict-free event. However, I just, and then now that WWE is like, we're in close communication with people who are the government officials. It's like there's no backup plan for a terrorist attack. There's no backup plan for war. This is 2022. The whole world has nuclear weapons. If something gets dropped on or near around the stadium, it's a wrap. So, like, that's the reason why I'm very, very concerned. But once again, sending my love and my prayers to everyone who is going over there, and I'm praying for your safety and your well being. Did you have anything you wanted to say about that, or?
No, my biggest concern is just their safety. 'Cause I feel like every time I go to Saudi Arabia, it's always something. Sorry, something's in my eye, people. Like it
You're
started
good.
burning out of nowhere. But no, I feel like incredibly just like anxious for them, just because every time they go to Saudi Arabia, some people get held up. The last thing I want to do is see any like talent that either don't get to go home and see their family and stuff like that. Obviously, the worst case scenario I don't want to happen is anyone get harmed or killed in the process, because it's a scary area. And the fact that they're willing to risk them still going out there, despite the fact that, according to reports, it's not in the same location that this dispute's going has been happening in.
Right.
It doesn't make me feel any better, because like you're, at the end of the day, you're risking everyone's lives for blood money. I support that they want to do a show. I don't support them doing a show at this time. I understand that there's contracts and things have been signed and there's probably been demands and stuff like that. But it's just like, if I'm not sure if this was a Triple H call or a Vince McMahon call or whoever's call it was. I personally would have just shifted the show over to another couple of weeks or maybe the next month or something.
Hmm.
Um, but you know, I'm hoping and praying from the sidelines that everyone gets their destination and back home safe with no issues at all whatsoever. Because that is a lot, especially again for those that have family. That's just scary to know that you may be going on this, because I know like people like sometimes like Becky Lynch and them be bringing their children with them on the
Yeah.
road sometimes, and like that's just scary. Like they
Hmm.
have to leave their children, especially at home, for this, and they may not see them. Like that just breaks my heart. So I hope everything works out.
Hmm. Agreed. But on to these predictions. So the first match: Braun Strowman versus Omos. Who do you have?
Braun Strowman versus Omos. They both suck at wrestling. Sorry. Do I have to choose? Do I? I don't
Yes, you
have a
have to
choice
choose.
here.
It's a either or. They
Oh
both
my
can't
god.
win.
I can't omit.
No, you can't omit.
Oh my god. Okay, I feel like since there's nothing to do with Omos at this point in his life, they're gonna give it to Braun, considering that everyone else, for some reason that I can't seem to comprehend, they like Braun. He has three moves total. One of them is running. He botched it a couple weeks ago. There's nothing else to this man besides being big and him being strong and running fast, and that's his entire gimmick. But sure, Braun. We're gonna go with Braun. What do you think?
I personally, I'm gonna give it to Braun as well, just because I feel like it. You know, I think that he's just gonna win the match. I like the way that Omos is being presented now, as like a serious button down kind of guy instead of just him being in ring gear all the time. I think it's different. I think it's smooth, and I think he has a lot of potential. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Braun Strowman on this one. So moving on to the next match for the tag team titles, for the undisputed tag team titles, we have the Usos versus Ridge and Butch. Who do you have?
Mm, I feel like they may get sabotaged and that it may go to Ridge and Butch.
Mm,
That's what I
really?
feel like. I feel like they have the titles long enough anyways, and there has
Hmm.
to be something going on with this whole Sammy and the Uso
Yeah.
situation, like eventually. So
Right.
I feel like that's gonna set them up by them losing. It's gonna go to Butch and Ridge. What do you think?
Now that you put it that way, because I was going to go with the Usos, I'm going to have to go with Ridge and Butch because there's really nothing else really left for the Usos to do or accomplish. I think they beat the New Day record.
I can
So
probably
it's
agree.
like there's no real like point. But like I think that Ridge and Butch, either Ridge and Butch win. If Ridge and Butch loses, then I feel like Butch would turn on Ridge. But I think that they have too much momentum for them to break up at this point. But I'm gonna go with Ridge and Butch. And then next we have a Raw Women's Championship last woman standing match between Bianca Belair and Bailey. Who do you got?
Oh God, I still wish I got my I Quit match, but um, geez, Bianca has so much momentum. I feel like I feel like Bailey could use it,
Mm,
but I feel like Bailey could use it. And I hope that if they're gonna have this last woman standing match, they actually show out with the stipulations because the last stipulation pay per view match wasn't what I thought it would be. I hope that it goes to Bailey, and
hmm
I want to see more edge on Bailey. I kind of want to see, considering that's the last woman's standing match. I want to see Bailey win by the skin of her teeth by almost like embarrassing Bianca. Like I want to see her just cut the braid already, or
mm,
attempt to like cut the braid. I think that'd be wicked. So I'm gonna give it to Bailey,
mm.
even though I feel like they may not give it. They may not give it to her, and they might go with Bianca instead. But I'm going to go with my gut and say Bailey. What do you think?
I'm gonna go and agree with you with Bailey. I think that if there are no plans for a women's intercontinental championship at this point, like I feel like Bailey can win and Bianca could still lose strong in this match. Obviously, Damage Control being a faction, they're going to be involved in this in some way, shape, or fashion. And I think this is a great way of having Bianca drop the belt without necessarily looking weak. So I'm gonna go with Bailey. I think that Bailey's gonna win, and then we're gonna see another match down the line with Bianca and Bailey. Moving on from that, newly just put on the card, we have the women's tag team championships, Alexa and Asuka versus Damage Control. Who do you have?
You know who I have next. you
I'm
you
gonna
go.
go with I'm gonna go with Damage Control. I'm predicting that Damage Control is going to have a very Armageddon '03 esque night. When I say Armageddon '03, I'm talking about Evolution. When Randy won the Intercontinental title, Hunter won the world title, and Batista and Ric Flair won the tag team titles. I'm predicting that type of night for Damage Control for Crown Jewel. So moving on from that, we have a steel cage match between Drew McIntyre and Karrion Cross.
Ooh, this sounds really good. Um, I love Drew, so I want to say Drew, but I feel like if I had to go off of booking, they would want to give it to Karrion Cross because they're still trying to build him and build his legitimacy. So far, I am
Mm-hmm.
enjoying this feud though. But yes, now I feel like Karrion Cross may get this one.
I agree. I think that Karrion Cross is going to win this one. The stipulation kind of gave it away for me, right? Like the fact that it's like a steel cage, meaning that you can win by escaping the cage, I think is going to be huge in this way, and it's going to be a way once again of having Drew lose a match without necessarily looking weak. And I think that they're going to really start putting the strap on Karrion Cross to his back so that he can elevate and do other things. So I'm going to go with Karrion Cross on this one. The next match is
Yeah, and
the
plus you could tell that right off rip they're gonna have Scarlett like screw Drew over about time he's trying to exit through the door. That's how I see the win happening. I feel like he's
right.
gonna try to exit through the door, and then Scarlett's gonna pull out some voodoo magic shit, and then that's just going to stop him while she like helps drag her husband out. That's literally how I see the ending of that match going. So it's not really gonna be his fault. But sorry, next match. My bad.
That makes
Go
sense.
next.
You're good. You're good. You're good. The next match, the OC versus the Judgment Day. Who do you got?
Unless they try to debut their unless they try to debut the you know the alleged spoiler that is Raquel, I feel like it's gonna go to Judgment Day,
Mm,
and then maybe they're gonna like debut Raquel afterward as like her being that final piece they need to beat Judgment Day. So I'm gonna go with
yeah.
Judgment Day.
I'm gonna go with OC on this one. With a OC Judgment Day match at Survivor Series War Games. I think that what's gonna happen is that Raquel is going to debut. After Raquel debuts, I feel like they're going to win. Reason being is just over the past couple weeks, you've seen the Judgment Day kind of like impose their will on the OC and really have been putting themselves over. And so I think that because of that, the OC is going to win and kind of balance it out. And then the Judgment Day is going to want static again. And then that's going to lead to Survivor Series War Games. So OC is who I got. The next match, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. Who do you have?
Man, this will go either way, but I'm still gonna stand on Bobby Lashley because I don't know what else they're necessarily trying to do with Brock. Like I feel like
Mm,
this match is just that one match that they needed to throw onto the card for star power. 'Cause that's what they tend to
mm-hmm.
do every Saudi show. They try to throw in some form of a star. So I feel like there's more to work with if you let Bobby Lashley win. I don't know what you do with Brock afterwards if he does win. The only reason why I feel like they would have him win is I guess for like 50-50 booking because if I'm not mistaken, didn't Bobby beat Brock their last feud that they had at a pay-per-view, or am I
Yeah, Bobby
mistaken?
beat. Yeah, he beat Brock.
Yeah, I like the only reason why I would see them give him to him is literally just to, do their 50-50 booking shtick, but I think that there's more to gain out of Bobby Lashley winning and with his booking and just making and solidifying him in his career because Brock could afford to keep losing and it's
Yeah,
still not going to make him look any less than a monster because again it's Brock Lesnar. Not that many people have actually slayed him. And plus it's Bobby freaking Lashley. Like off of his
right,
look and his physique and just like how powerful and just how dominant he's been looking, it would make sense if his kryptonite was Bobby Lashley, and I would actually love that to be like a running gag.
right. I I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Bobby. I'm gonna go Bobby Lashley. I feel like him. If you want to keep Bobby strong, he has to win. And I also just believe that because Brock is not necessarily a full time performer, that we are going to see, Bobby kind of being put over because ultimately he's the one that's going to stay around. And I actually think that we're going to see the beginning of the return of the Hurt Business. I think that's the way that they're going to get Bobby the win is having Cedric and Shelton pop up out of nowhere. Because if you notice, Bobby has slowly, you know, doing a lot of Hurt Business esque stuff. We've been seeing Bobby wear the shirt and tie or wear the suits, wear the shades, be a little bit more aggressive, a little less, soft spoken, you know what I mean? And I think that this is kind of paving the way for the return of the Hurt Business. And I think that that's going to be the way that they allow Bobby to win, because you can't let Brock look weak. There has to be distractions. So I definitely think that we're going to see Bobby beat Brock. So that's my that's my prediction. And now for the main event, Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Who do you have?
I want to go with Logan. I feel like with the way they've been building him up, with saying with the effort they've been placing in, with showing him training with legends like Shawn Michaels and stuff like that. Like I feel like they've been going out of their way to just like put him over as like no, like Logan, like he's been working. Like I know like he's some random internet dude who just got lucky his last few matches and his last few feuds, but no, like he's taking this match seriously. Like he's getting
Mm-hmm.
like the top of the top biggest stars of the whole entire company to train him, from top to bottom, left to right, and like when you say something when you got someone like Shawn Michaels training you, think about all the matches and all the shit that Shawn Michaels has put up through and all the type of situations he's been put through. Like he's a very strategic fighter, a
Right.
very strategic wrestler. Sorry, my apologies. You
You're
know what
good.
I mean? Not only is he's going to be learning different types of creative moves, but Shawn Michaels is sneaky as fuck. Who's to
Yeah.
say that he hasn't like he's not picking up one of his tricks? You know what I mean? I would pop like a motherfucker if he literally like pops up with a super kick
Yo, that would be mad
and
funny.
catches Roman off guard. That would be amazing. And I feel like people aren't thinking about that stuff. Like, it's not that he's just training with a legend. It's like, think about how sneaky Sean is, especially prime Sean. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like, I feel like this is meant to be a match where you're gonna think that it's gonna go to Roman because yeah, he's been on like this dominant streak and we're so used to him winning. But I do feel like they're trying to still legitimize Logan Paul. And I feel like if you really wanted to, you can't be mad at him when you've been pushing that Shawn Michaels has been in his ear and training him for all these months or weeks, whatever length it's been. Um, I feel like that would be a big shocker. I feel like it would be the highlight of the night, the talk of the night, if
Mm-hmm.
Logan Paul did. Again, and I wouldn't be mad at it because he's already good as is. Like already like just being someone who's only been in this game for like less than a year now and he's showed us what he showed us. I feel like he is qualified. It would piss a lot of people off because yeah, there should be other people that should have this opportunity who's been here longer, but it's the perfect controversy that WWE is looking for. So I would give it to Logan Paul off of all those things I just mentioned because there's a lot more to gain with Logan getting it now than if you let Roman keep going and go with this tired ass long freaking reign that he has. What do you think?
Ah, man. That and it's so funny because one of the promos that Logan was doing was talking about all I need is one lucky shot. And when you said, super kick, that's the one thing that I thought about. That could be the one lucky shot. So I still think that Roman Reigns is going to win. However, I do see what you're saying, and I wouldn't be surprised if on those grounds Logan Paul wins. I think that Roman's run is just so historic and so once in a generation esque that they're not going to allow him to drop it to Logan Paul. I personally believe that he's going to hold the belt until Mania, and I think that Cody's going to take it off of him. But man, I, I I don't. I'm not mad at Logan Paul being a WWE champion, and on those grounds, it's shot because when you have a show like that and you want to have a WrestleMania like show, you want to have a WrestleMania like moment, and that's that moment. Also, apparently Jake Paul is going to be in Saudi Arabia, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets
Ooh.
involved in the match, and that would be a nice little interesting tidbit as well. So we'll see what happens, but I'm I'm very very eager and excited about what's to come.